What is up, my clean queens and aspiring clean queens? Hallelujah here, trying to help you reign in the 21st century. So as promised, my last video was on why you should consider getting off birth control, and then my own personal experience as to what pushed me off birth control. And that was the cleanest move I could have ever made. In this video, I'm going to give y'all some alternatives to balancing hormones and also contraception. So a lot of people freak out when they get off birth control. They're like, Hallie, what am I going to do? I can't get pregnant. Or how am I going to balance my hormones? My doctor tells me that the only way I can cure my PCOS and my endometriosis is through the pill. I want you guys to know right now that that's not true. There are hundreds of thousands of studies and good naturopathic doctors who have learned how to balance hormones with what are called bioidentical hormones. I started with this when I was in college. My mom helped me go to this naturopathic doctor. However, I failed miserably at it because I was not mature enough or prepared to do it. Like I said before, the contraception pill is like driving automatic, right? It does all the work for you. You don't have to balance the estrogen with the progestin. What you need to do is just take the pill once a day and it does it automatically. However, with bioidentical hormones, that's more like driving manual. It's a little bit more work, but I'm telling you, it's worth it. You also have to learn how to track your periods with it, because you're going to need to know that, for instance, your doctor may tell you, as an example, you need to take on the third week of your cycle, you need to take a progesterone for 7 days in a row. Now, it doesn't seem that hard. However, when you're super young and immature, not ready for it, it can be quite difficult. But bioidentical hormones are a little bit more natural and safer. And these methods, along with like diet and exercise, cure PCOS and endometriosis at the source. We're not putting a Band-Aid over it. We're not just saying, here's birth control, because there are studies that prove when you get off birth control. There was this one study I read. It wasn't a study, I'm sorry. It was an article of a woman who was on it for 12 years, the combination contraceptive pill, so NuvaRing, Biaz, any one of those. She was on it for 10 years. And when she got off of it, it masked her symptoms of endometriosis. Her endo was so bad and had already perforated all through her intestines that she, at that point, was unable to conceive. And all because it was masking the problem, not fixing the problem. This is one of the biggest reasons that I was forced to get off of it, because I really wanted it to be a smooth transition by the time I did decide to have a family. Now, for y'all who don't know what endometriosis is, as your uterine lining gets thicker and thicker and thicker throughout your cycle on the inside, and then it releases at the end of the cycle, the month, and then you have a period. With endometriosis, that tissue that's building up is actually growing on the outside of your uterus, even into your intestines, which can cause symptoms like IBS, right? In fact, a lot of people get misdiagnosed with IBS and instead have to go see a gynecologist and find out that their gastroenterologist was wrong. It was endometriosis, not irritable bowel syndrome. So with that said, bioidentical hormones is a great natural way to cure those problems. I've also seen some of my friends and girls that I've helped out personally accomplish this with just literally losing weight, working out, intermittent fasting, lowering their insulin levels, and eating a clean diet. Nothing crazy. When my doctor had first told me, like, you can't ever eat bread again, don't look at bread, I freaked out. But the truth is, there are nice balanced approaches to curing these symptoms. And then if you're actually, however, like those bioidentical hormones, they don't prevent, pregnancy. So you can obviously do the old school route, which is that of wearing protection and wearing a condom. And if you want a more simplistic way to prevent pregnancy, one of the best ways is what's called the copper IUD. It has 0 hormones in it. It is placed by your doctor, and it prevents pregnancy. It's like any other IUD from my understanding. I think it's like 3 to 5 years. I'm not sure, don't quote me on that. But it is up there relatively permanently. The doctor inserts it. And the copper creates an acidic environment in which sperm or semen cannot live or thrive. So that is what makes it a contraceptive, but it's also hormone free, so it doesn't give you those really dangerous synthetic chemicals. Now, there are some stories of these IUDs coming out of place, and if it perforates your uterus, it can cause infertility. That is like 1 in 200,000 or something, like they said. The only reason it freaked me out when I was considering it was because it had actually happened to my best friend. But again, it is very rare. With anything comes risk, and that's one of those things that you should just be aware of and not live in fear. So the last way, which is what I'm doing right now, is called period tracking or rhythm tracking. So I'm going to be honest, since I've had PCOS since my teens, I've been tracking my symptoms. I've been tracking when my period comes, when it doesn't come. And that was just to get a familiarity with my body. I am such a huge advocate of this. I believe it should be taught in schools for sex ed. I didn't even know a woman ovulates until I was like 20 years old. I didn't know that there was really only a 24 to 48 hour window, fertile window, where you could get pregnant immediately. And nobody ever told me that. I thought you could get pregnant all 30 days of the month, when that's not true. We have dry spells, we have fertile spells, we have dips in our body temperatures. Rhythm method, a lot of religious people use it, Catholics use it. I'm just a proponent of using it to get to know your body. You should know exactly, you should be so empowered and know exactly what your body is doing and what you're feeling at all times. Guys, it's one of the most empowering feelings. I'm so in tune with my body now. And not only that, I've had my boyfriend and men tell me, like, that's incredibly attractive to be mature enough to be that in tune with your body. So with that, we track what's called your BBT, or your basal body temperature. And what we use to use that is a basal thermometer. This is not a normal thermometer you use when you are sick. This is a very specific type of thermometer. Now this one, I will put a link to the description box. This is the one I use. It is called, funny story, I've been calling it Femometer for since I've got it. And then I realized yesterday, right when I was planning on making this movie, that it's actually a play on words. It's Femometer, like a thermometer, but a thermometer. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to link it. This, you have to take, you can hear it beep. It has no gauge on it to tell you the temperature. You have to get the app on your phone, and it, with Bluetooth, automatically syncs everything in here into your app. And if the data gets lost, it's also backed up into the server. They have different thermometers you can get. This one, I believe, was $40 from Amazon. Again, I'm going to put the link in the description box below. I also thought it was very pretty, but you have to take this immediately upon waking up. So this is going to create some habit changing, because you can't even get up to pee before you take your temperature. You wake up, you might set your alarm for every single day. Even if you get to sleep in that day, set it for every day, maybe 8 a.m. At 8 a.m., you can keep your eyes closed. Just try to find it next to your bed, take it off, put it under your tongue, but it's going to go beep, beep, beep. And then that means it's done. I'm going to put a link of what a curve looks like. It's going to track the curve in a graph. So what happens when you ovulate is, right as your ovary releases an egg, your temperature drops. And then after about 24 hours of that egg being released, it peaks again. So you're going to have a curve. I'm going to post an example right here. You can see where it ovulates because you drop, and then it peaks. Now this isn't, you're not able to really tell when you're ovulating when you first start doing this, because you have to create the habit of doing it every day, and then you have to go for a full month, 2 months, 3 months to really see what your body's doing. I finally got it this past cycle, exactly where I knew I was ovulating, because I tracked the mucus that comes out of you. It should look like egg whites. And then on top of that, for the first time ever, I was consistent enough with taking my temperature, and it tracked it in my cycle. It confirmed it. It said you did ovulate on the 15th day of your cycle, which is normal for most women. You should be ovulating about the 14th, 15th, 16th day of your cycle. However, with PCOS, again, one of the common symptoms is you don't ovulate, or it's sporadic. So that's why we're getting used to tracking here. Now, once you know when you ovulate, it is amazing practice to, unless you're trying to conceive, to not have sexual intercourse at any time, like 5 days before you ovulate and a little bit after. And actually, your app will even tell you, hey, this isn't a really safe time to have sex. This is a really safe time to have sex. This is your absolute fertile window. Do not have sex unless you're trying to conceive. And it even asks you when you do your app, like, how much do you weigh? What are your goals? Are you trying to conceive? Are you trying to prevent? And it will tell you today you should have sex if you're trying to conceive, or today you should refrain from it if you're trying to prevent and use this as a form of contraceptive. This allows you to check all your symptoms, your cramping, your bloating, your mucus. You can add photos. You can do ovulation tests and put photos in it. They even have ovulation tests and pregnancy tests that upload to your app that you can buy specifically from Femometer. I highly recommend this company. This one was $40. Guys, you can get one for like $19 at Target. You can find other ones that aren't as fancy or complicated, also from Amazon. This is just the one that I use, and it is my favorite. There's the little Femometer. I'll put some screenshots and videos of what the app actually looks like. Anyway, those are the options. Bioidentical hormones. You use the copper IUD, which is hormone free, but is used as contraceptive because semen cannot live within that acidic environment of copper. And then we have period tracking, or Rhythmic method, which is tracking your symptoms, your ovulation, and your basal body temperature. Thank you guys for joining me today, and I can't wait to get clean with y'all.